Oh, this is a big deal, and this is thrilling. I don't know how Brett Veach and the front office did it, but they are bringing, quite literally, nearly everyone back. Kendall Fuller, the only significant contributor who's gone. I thought Chris Jones was going to be traded before the draft because I didn't think they were going to be able to make the money work. Why is this such a big deal? Two reasons. First of all, Chris Jones is the second best defensive tackle in the NFL, full stop. Aaron Donald is in a class by himself. And then if you look at sacks, quarterback pressures, the PFF grades, any of the advanced numbers, Chris Jones is better than every defensive tackle in football not named Aaron Donald. They just brought him back. Here's the other reason why it's critical. They now have their entire core of elite players locked up for at least the next 2 seasons. Show it. That's the 7 best players on the team. They are contracted through at least 2021, which means the core of the team is going to have a chance to win not 1, not 2, but 3 consecutive Super Bowls, which has never been done. And NFL history says if you're going to win a bunch, you better do it in bunches. The Patriots, we say they won 6 over 20 years, but they won 3 and 4, took a decade off, then won 3 and 5. And so, Greg, I think Chris Jones was the best player on the defense last year. I think he's one of the most underrated National League players in football. And to get him back on a 4-year deal is a massive coup for the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs.
It is a massive coup, and I agree with everything you said. But even more importantly, it brings that team together in ways that one cannot even imagine. To have a quarterback get signed for $500 million and then to turn around and sign who we all knew was an integral and marquee part of that the success of that team, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, and you make an effort to say, no, we're gonna retain you and we're gonna give you a large piece of this pie. That sends a message to everybody in that locker room, and they understand that, look, these guys are for us. So we got to do this again. And when our turn comes, hopefully we get the opportunity that everybody else is getting. And that's exciting as a player. Forget everything else. They're going to bring their nucleus back. They're going to keep rolling this thing, especially if they can keep finding ways to retain players like Chris Jones.
Hey, Nick, carpe diem. I think you got a fair point. Seize the day. Try to make this dynasty happen. I don't think it's the right move. Neither does Bill Belichick, who currently has the dynasty championship belt around his waist while he's filming that Subway commercial. But look, the first rule of having a dynasty is like Fight Club. Don't talk about the dynasty. The second rule is don't talk about the dynasty. And the third rule is don't lock people into long-term guaranteed contracts. That's what Bill Belichick did. You guys want to go another route. Let's talk about Chris Jones's tweets here. He's not listening to the first rule of Bill Belichick Fight Club, which is, oh, let's go. The dynasty continues. You guys don't even have a dynasty yet. I don't know. What are we talking about? Unless it's a Madden season he's in the middle of. Then he continues, run it, Sack Nation, run it back. I'm happy that he got his money. I love you, Chiefs. Great. Promise to bring you more championship rings and a defensive player of the year. You know what? I believe in speaking into existence. The championship rings promise I like too. But Nick, I dug up an old clip. Not many people have seen this clip. I was like, you know what? This sounds familiar, this championship ring stock. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but if we could play it, Hubs, we'll get Nick's reaction to this.
Okay, so listen, LeBron obviously didn't anticipate Dwayne Wade's knee was going to give out on him. I give you credit for pulling up the one public misstep of LeBron's entire career. That's a well-done knife to my back. They did go to the championship round, though, 4 times and won 2 of them. And in the NFL, that would assuredly be considered a dynasty. But you mentioned the Patriots. And so, the Patriots they never sign guys this type of deal. Here's kind of the underrated or under-discussed part of that. It's because the Patriots don't actually draft that well. They don't often draft star players or players that turn in to star players. They did it with Brady, they did it with Gronk, and you go up and down the list, not a bunch of other guys that turned into stars. Kelsey, Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, all those guys drafted by the Chiefs, by this front, not all by this front office, some by this front office, and then extended by this front office. So there's more than one way to build a dynasty. The Patriots, because they had so many misses in the draft and they had the stability of Brady, their mantra of find other teams' undervalued, distressed assets, bring them in cheaply, worked great for them. The Chiefs' philosophy of how about we just hit on our draft picks and then keep those players, Greg, that's actually really what your Packers tried to do. And I know your Packers didn't turn into a dynasty, but you guys won the Super Bowl, and then the very next year were a dominant team at 15-1. So I think there are multiple ways to try to do this, and extending your best players and finding the cap room to do so is always a good option in the NFL. And the whole league was hoping the Chiefs couldn't come to an agreement with Chris Jones. Unfortunately for everyone else, they did.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.